Alright, and we're live. This is Idiot Cubed, episode 1, I guess.
Yeah, it's like episode 0 pilot.
Yeah, the pilot. There we go. That's a better one.
If we don't have the title card, Ruski Vayeni Nicaragua, iди nахуй, I'm gonna be very sad.
Yes. I was debating on putting it as the Ukrainian flag, but I don't know the like for the thumbnail, but it just wasn't it wasn't lining up properly. So
Yeah, it's alright. Nah, honestly, like, I know we were talking before the start of the podcast. We were talking about the shit that's going on in the States right now, but honestly, I can't stop thinking about that.
yeah. So like, what actually what law, like
It's a bail reform. Okay, so here's
Okay.
the thing, right? So in the States right now, they're because they're like thinking of changing up some laws and shit. One of the things that they wanted to cover was bail reform. So like you know how you have like money bail normally, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to pay money to get bailed out so you don't like sit in prison waiting for your trial.
Yeah.
Uh they decided that because this affects poor people too much. Oh, okay, Jack's just
Jack
left. Okay.
Jack just died. Okay.
He just died. All right. I don't care. Anyways, yeah, because of the fact that that this like affects poor people because poor people obviously can't pay what is it bail.
Yeah.
Instead, they wanted to try something else, and in this case, they were just wondering to themselves like, and in a blaze of glory, like galaxy brain moves. They're like, what if we just don't arrest people who commit non-violent crimes? And that's what they basically did. And so they're
Oh.
essentially like soft amnestying any non-violent crime.
So
And
you can just
they thought
it's just the purge, pretty much.
Yeah, it literally is. The thing is that I saw a New York Post article, I think it was, that said, you know, like Illinois basically legalized the purge. And the thing is that since doing this, they did this in a few like blue states like New York and shit.
Right.
Since doing that in New York, like I remember looking at the chart for it, and it showed that like Grand Theft Auto, like grand larceny, like just shot right up, like right after they passed it.
Well, of course,
And
like
to
when
the
you
point where they have a crime wave going on in New York right now.
I
Like,
mean,
what
when you
the
pretty
hell?
much legalize crimes, then you're going to get an increase in crimes, you know.
Yeah. Well, like the thing is that because so like they still go to trial, and they still get processed, but just like right after they get processed at
They
the
just go,
station,
yeah,
they're
it's
just
like
let go.
yeah, exactly. Like
Like, there you go, buddy.
the process of like bail bonds or something like that is just
Yeah.
negated, right?
Yeah, and then obviously for like career criminals, like they don't give a shit about reoffending.
No, exactly.
It's like most of the time they're just like, oh yeah, easy money, no problem. They just gave me a get out of jail free card.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, no, it was that, and in San Francisco, they got rid of it entirely for nonviolent offenses, and then they had to repeal it right after. I'm pretty sure that guy was actually voted out of office like right after in a referendum.
Oh, I would hope so, honestly. Like,
It's the only time I've seen a referendum go that way. It's hilarious.
and like I don't really have a lot of background on it, but I was listening to another podcast actually talking about it, but
I guess another podcast.
apparently
Close to ours.
like the bill was introduced at like 1 in the morning or something like that, and like lawmakers or whoever, like the opposition or something, like I don't know how the American legal system works, but apparently they were given like half an hour or like an hour or something like that to read over like an 800-page document.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it like it got like quick put through, right? Like it just
Literally
so
the
no one
equivalent
can
of a
like
professor like saying, "Yeah, dude, you need to do like a 15-page thesis paper with all these references, and I want it on my desk by this afternoon."
yeah, no kidding. So
It's
like
like, what the
they
fuck,
had
man?
no time to read it, and then it just got put through with like no one asking questions or saying anything
Oh
about it,
damn,
pretty much.
it got Obamacared. F.
Yeah, I mean Obamacare was kind of a good thing. I don't know.
No,
Again,
Obamacare was a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like there wasn't enough time to revise it before they passed it through Congress.
yeah, yeah.
I
It
think
could
they
have.
just kind of rushed it right through, and without like really looking at like how much would this cost or what's like a loophole that we can fix here, rather than just being like, yeah, we have a full healthcare now, no problem, bro. Because like in some places, it's like I remember watching a documentary on it. In some places, like because everybody has to buy into Obamacare.
Yeah,
In some places in the states, right? The fee to not get Obamacare is actually cheaper than paying for Obamacare, and so they will just like
just not get
not
Obamacare.
buy it, and they'll just pay the fine.
Uh, yes, you can just opt out of this, but you have to pay, but it's less than actually paying for it. So but you don't get medical insurance. Like I don't know. I think I would pay it just to get the medical insurance. Well,
Honestly, same though. It's like, God bless Canadian healthcare. I
yeah.
say that and then I die on the waiting list.
Yeah. Okay. No. 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 The absolute state of Canadian healthcare right now. I was talking
The
to.
absolute state of this
No,
land.
seriously. I was talking to like I was training a new coworker. She's from like Ukraine, right? Like Bucha.
Yeah.
And I was saying how like the topic of the Canadian like healthcare system came up, and she's like, yeah, like oh, what was it? Her mom had like needed a knee replacement or something like that,
Hmm.
and she's like, yeah, my mom walked into the clinic, got an X-ray, and like an MRI and whatnot, and then got a knee replacement within that week.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Damn.
okay, so in Canada, you're waiting like a good
Dude, that's at least like 6 months just to get
yeah.
referred.
Oh, no kidding. Like
Oh,
that's
look, it's back.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's like 6 months to get referred, 6 months to get the X-ray, another 8 months to
Mm.
get the MRI, and then another year to get like the actual surgery done.
Yeah, it's actual go for the operation. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's absolutely scuffed.
and then I'm like, oh yeah, I needed to go like get a physical done, like my yearly physical, and I'm like, yeah, I have to wait till like November to get that done. And she's like, her jaw just dropped, and she's like, you can't get in like right now, like in the next like few minutes. And I'm like, oh God, no.
It's like no,
No,
no.
like that's not a thing that. And she's like, yeah, you can like call up your doctor and like you can be like walking to the clinic and you'll get in,
Mm.
like to see your doctor
Wow.
to like do a
Uh,
physical or whatever.
Dude, even for a physical, if you have a GP, like at least for me, I have to wait at least like 2-3 hours in that fucking office
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so you're waiting like 2 months to like for the actual appointment, then you're waiting
Yeah.
in the doctor's office for a few hours, like that. Like you're pretty much done for the
Oh
day.
yeah, no, and God forbid you need like a specialist or something. I remember when I was a kid, I had to go get something like for my eyes because we were wondering if I could get eye surgery or not.
Right.
And just to wait for that procedure, I think that was like it was like a 3 or 4 month wait or something like that. It was insane.
Okay.
So
So
they had to bus the guy in from like Edmonton or something.
oh, of
Like
course, yeah. Well, because all that specialists live in like they live in Edmonton. Like no one's here in Regina or
yeah,
Saskatoon. Like there's a
it's either you live in Edmonton if you live in the west or Vancouver, and that's your only two choices.
yeah, pretty much. Well, and
Or Calgary if you're from out of town.
like to get my you know how I have that bald spot right on the back of my head. Well, used to anyway.
Yeah.
I was referred to a plastic surgeon in 2019, or
Mm.
no 2020 when I turned 18, and I like that just happened this summer. Like
You
granted,
waited
like
that long.
COVID was a thing. Like yeah, it makes sense. Like all elective surgeries were
So
canceled and whatnot.
you went from the start of COVID to the end of COVID, and
Yeah,
then you
so
just
two
got it.
years, pretty much 2 years,
Wow.
until I got like a very very minor like plastic surgery. Like it took like 15 minutes maybe.
I guess bald spot, male pattern baldness. Yo,
Yeah.
when are we getting our when are we getting an ad for that? An ad read?
No kidding, right?
If we don't get it by episode 5, we'll be sorely disappointed.
What's the company like the that does the sponsors for that? It's
There's a couple different ones.
yeah, there's
like
a lot.
Dollar Shave Club is a big one. There's one for like baldness. I can't remember which one it was. I'm not gonna name drop, but yeah,
Yeah.
I saved right after I name drop.
No,
Good one.
and then like I like in that same doctor's appointment where I wanted to get like referred to a plastic surgeon, I wanted to get referred to a general surgeon, to have a surgery to like stop. It's called hyperhidrosis. It's basically like extremely sweaty hands.
Hyperhidrosis.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you drink too much water, man.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
mean,
what it sounds like.
it's involving a lot of water somehow, but it's like my hands get really sweaty and whatnot. Like it's been a thing my entire life, but it just gets really annoying when you're trying to write stuff down and you're literally dripping on like your hands are dripping on the paper, or like you can't hold your phone properly because it's so
It's
wet.
dripping. It's got drip though.
Yeah.
You don't
So-
understand. It's
so-
different.
So keep like a supply of chalk, like handy
Well,
at all
okay,
times,
and like
man.
I've
Oh, like he's
used
gonna go rock climbing.
I've used all these like remedies. Like I've used these I can't remember what it was. It was like silica crystals that you rub on your hand, and it's supposed to clog the. It's like really unhealthy when I was like really thinking about it, but it worked kind of. But I just sweat so much that it didn't work like enough. So I got Botox injections in my hand. Like it was a good like
I remember you telling me about
yeah,
this.
it was
how it's
50
the weirdest
needles,
thing.
50
I
needles
remember
each
that.
hand, and like my hands went freaking numb afterwards, and like I started to have like motor issues in my hands. Like I couldn't type well. I couldn't do that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that again. So I asked to get referred for this surgery that it basically cuts a nerve or something like that that makes you sweat in your hands, and it's kind of a big surgery. But I just got a letter in the mail like a week ago asking me to go up to Saskatoon for an appointment with this general surgeon in November.
In November.
Yeah, I
Bruh.
keep in mind I asked this at like the beginning of 2020. Just got the letter
Bruh.
a few weeks ago to go up, and it's just a consult appointment. It's like nothing's going to be done that day.
Yes, I love the government. I love government bureaucracy. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Because I've had experience with bad fucking paperwork and bureaucracy, but
I was
that
about to
takes
say, didn't you wait like
decades.
6 months in limbo when you're trying to join the reserves?
Bruh.
What,
Is it, bruh?
bruh? Indeed,
Okay, first of all, is anyone actually watching this?
no.
No.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
so,
fuck it. I can't name drop. Fuck.
yeah, good. Don't fucking let it on that I was in the army, if, like, on the off chance that one person, like, starts to listen to us, because the CAF doesn't like its soldiers to fucking have political opinions.
Okay, from nondescript organization.
I'll just cut that bit out when I edit it and post it to YouTube.
It's nondescript.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, right, no, yeah, I thought you were, like, live streaming or something.
I am live streaming, but like I can go in and edit like portions.
Nobody
of the
can.
live stream.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Why are you live streaming,
because it's just easier.
bruh?
And then you can like get the VOD after.
Yeah,
No one's
Yeah, just cut
watching
that
this.
out.
yeah, like you can edit the VOD.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's go. Let's get back on topic, boys. What were you talking about
Anyway, so
outside of that? What's the new shit?
oh right, the conservative leadership vote.
Oh, right, the conservative leadership.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no. Jackson, I don't know if you got this right, my
Yeah.
guy, but the final tally came in for that race. It turned out that Polyev, like, mind you, on the night of it,
yeah, it
like
says
the
I
first
have
ballot
the
came in, and it was like, oh yeah, he got 68% of the voters, something like that.
I have the article up right here. It's actually on the live stream. I have like a scene for it, but it
Yeah, hold
says
that shit up.
yeah, Puliev earned 68.15% of the points on the first ballot, and that's on the first ballot.
I think by the end of it, he got like 70 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you were saying
Okay.
71 earlier or something. Like
Yeah, I think so.
absolutely, like Saddam
Oh, you just
Hussein.
demolished that fucking race.
Yeah, like Saddam Hussein level
Saddam
like,
Hussein.
margins there.
This
Well,
is a picture of
honestly,
Canada's
I,
financial system. This is a picture of Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
Well, for his sake, I hope that he actually, like, tells the Canadian public what he's going to do to fix the country's problems instead of just going Trudeau bad for,
That's
like,
why he got elected.
yeah.
That's why he got elected to the position. He's like really going hard on policy right now.
Well,
His main
well,
thing is like seems to be
is he-
like housing, and then he wants to sack the the head of the Bank of Canada.
his
Okay, well-
He's printing too much money.
his
Okay, well,
publicity though
is
has
he
been
criticizing Trudeau's policy or just like actually saying
he's-
what he's going to do?
Yeah, no, he's doing a little bit of both. It seems it's like he's had a mix between jabbing either at Trudeau or most of it's just been against the government in general, like the Liberals. And he's like mixing that in with like policy of they want to build more homes to drive housing prices down. And I know they want to do some like Bitcoin shit going on.
yeah. That was one thing that did you see
There's one thing
Trudeau's?
the media tried to get him on. They were
Yeah.
like, he's trading Bitcoin, guys, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it's like sketchy
cares?
sketchy Bitcoin trading and whatnot. And no, but like that was like the first thing that Trudeau. Like, did you watch Trudeau's like response video to him like Puliev winning?
I didn't. I've been kind of
Hadn't actually. I didn't even know he released one.
He basically called Puliev like irresponsible for telling people to invest in like cryptocurrencies and whatnot. He's like, yeah, well, if they were to like listen to that advice, they would have their like life savings wiped out. And like Puliev was like, no,
My God.
I didn't tell anyone to put their life savings into freaking Bitcoin. Like that's the stupidest decision.
It's
you
not
could
just that, but that's such a
possibly do.
dumb argument that he can say that, oh yeah, well, Bitcoin is such a, or I guess crypto is such a sketchy, volatile market. But then at the same
Yeah,
time be
for
like,
that.
stock market though, or Forex.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, Forex is literally just Bitcoin and crypto trading, but with actual currencies.
Yeah,
It's the same shit. and somehow that's more legitimate than crypto.
I
It's
don't
like
know,
I
man.
don't understand that philosophy.
It's like, yeah, like cryptocurrency is very new and a lot of people don't trust it, and I understand why. And it's very like it's super 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 volatile, and like that's
I mean,
it's not a
that's true.
thing that you like just pour a ton of money in and just like forget about it, right?
No, but at the same time though, we can see like at least as far as like popularity is concerned, like younger people are interested in cryptocurrency
Oh,
now.
of course,
Like
yeah.
it is a viable enough market.
I think so. I think they need to have like a mainstream uh like currency be stable. Like you know those stable coins, but no
Yeah.
one knows about the stable. I guess like there's Tether and like USD coin and whatnot, but
Yeah, we need like a like a gold standard of coin almost.
yeah,
To set
and
like
that's kind
what's
of
the
what
baseline or the average.
that's kind of what Tether is. It like it just mimics the like the US dollar, but like it
But
needs
in
to be
coin form
tied. It needs to
basically.
be tied to itself. Like it can't be tied
I
to
was about to
like
say it can't be tied to like an actual currency.
yeah, it can't be tied to a currency. It has to be I don't know, like tied to Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin will stabilize or something. Like it's mind you, it's kind of stabilized now at 26,000 like Canadian. It's
Yeah,
it's
after like
been
the Great Purge.
yeah. Oh God, I lost
Bro,
so much money, so much money.
my man, your wall just died right there.
Yeah, literally, like it's not even profitable to run my miner
Oh
on my
no.
thing now. Like oh, it was so
The
bad.
guy's like, I will invest a fucking lot of money and time and energy into this, and then I'll make good money off of it. Like
Yeah,
6 months later, dies.
dies literally. Kato, I had like I recovered my like I made enough money to like cover the cost of like the card and like the mining rig and all that, and
Yeah.
I made like a good $200 extra on top of that. And keep in
I
mind,
mean,
this
that's
is
not
like
too
I
bad.
bought the card like peak prices for like graphics cards, right?
Oh, if you have for GPUs.
Yeah, and yeah, lost all of it. Like I have
God,
maybe
that was something else entirely. You remember like when people were just mass buying GPUs, like they were setting up bots to buy up
yeah.
GPUs and shit. So dumb, man.
It's funny now because like you look on like American like Facebook Marketplace and like 3070s are going for $200 because there's
Uh,
so many of them, and I'm like, oh, these were $1,500 like 6 months ago.
yeah, well, it's just because the fact that they were just such high demand, because everyone decided collectively around the globe, they were like, yo, mining Bitcoin, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
And they all just decided to buy shit to mine Bitcoin. Or any other crypto, I guess. It's so dumb.
it was mainly Ethereum. That's what you can't really mine.
Yeah, I remember hearing Ethereum kind of popped off at that time.
Well, you can't really mine like Bitcoin anymore on graphics cards because it's that like the computing power needed is too difficult. That's why they have like they're called ASICs. It's application specific integrated circuits. It's basically like a circuit board that is specifically meant to run the hashes for like the SHA 256 like hash thing
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that Bitcoin uses. So
Damn.
yeah.
That's like super efficient, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like that's the whole point. It's like it's specific. Well, it's in the name, like application-specific integrated circuit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the idea that it's like, well, we need something specifically just to run this software.
yeah,
Just to like crunch these numbers.
yeah.
That's fucked though.
It's kind of insane. And yeah, so everyone's mining like Ethereum and whatnot, and then Ethereum, like the founders, or I don't even know if there's founders. I don't know if they're anonymous or whatnot, but like the company that is behind Ethereum, they're like, oh, we're going to a proof of stake instead of proof of work. So all your miners and all that equipment that you just bought and like the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, millions, trillions of dollars worth of like mining rigs and whatnot out there,
Yeah,
that's basically going to be useless now.
that just means nothing.
Yeah,
So it's like basically saying to this group of people, it's like, yeah, I know we like created this industry for y'all and like, really went home on building infrastructure and shit for it. But we're gonna like abandon this now. So
yeah.
you can go fuck off with all that like useless shit, and we're
It's
gonna run off with our money.
it's too bad for the environment. It's using too much electricity. That's why we
Is that
think.
actually the reason?
Yeah, that's the whole reason. Like there
But
there
is
is.
it true though? That's the real question.
Well,
Does it actually hurt the environment that much?
I mean, you think about well, yeah, I'd say it does. It hurts the environment as much as like electric cars does. Like people think, oh, it's electricity, it's green, and it's clean
Mm.
energy. It's like
Yeah, but
no,
like the energy needs to come from
yeah,
somewhere to
and like the
power it.
majority of places who like China and like Russia and like all these other places, they're using coal power plants. Like even in Canada here,
Yeah.
it's
I was about to say we still use a lot of fucking coal. It's
yeah,
like
it's
that and
coal,
geothermal.
especially in Saskatchewan. Like not so much in
Yeah.
Manitoba and like other places, but
No, not for long until we get like an actual nuke, man. We're getting the nukes.
yeah, we're getting the SMRs, the small modular
Yeah, man.
reactors.
Yeah, Canada will be a nuclear power by 2060, man. Don't
Tw-
worry about
2035, that's when it's supposed to be in.
it. Is that actually what
Yeah.
the like the set time for it is?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
5-year
it's
plan.
either 2030 or 2035. I can't remember.
Um,
Yeah, but we're supposed to get one. There's going to be two. So there's going to be one by Prince Albert, I believe, and then one close to, like not close to Regina, but like somewhere
Prince Albert, the worst city in the province.
PA.
I didn't even realize that there's probably going to be a lot of people listening that are probably not from Saskatchewan. I've probably never heard of Saskatchewan prior to the staffing.
Oh, probably. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people who don't even know what Canada is, but
Honestly, it's like, or at
Zim-
the very least, they don't know who we are.
Yeah.
They know like, when it comes to Canada, it's like everybody knows like Toronto and Vancouver, and then maybe Quebec City and Ottawa and Montreal.
No, they know Montreal.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
it's
they know
Montreal, Vancouver, and like Toronto.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
but it's like no one knows who like we are or what Alberta is
Yeah, no kidding.
or Saskatchewan.
Or you'd get like the odd person who knows what like Edmonton or Calgary or something like that is.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
I feel like people only know us for how weird our name is. Honestly,
Saskatchewan.
they're like,
Yeah.
how do I pronounce that? That scares me. It's a big word.
Yeah. Easy to
Well,
draw,
it's the
hard to spell.
easiest- Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
All right, another topic here. We have
Say that like you're shuffling through cards, like you're giving an interview. Are you Conan?
yes. No, his Majesty
Nick,
King
what?
Charles III
Oh,
Tard
right.
Rages.
His Majesty
Yeah.
King Charles III deciding that, with all of the elegance of the previous amount of monarchs in British history, he's just deciding to Tard Rage over a pen.
Yeah, Tard Rages over a pen, leaking ink on him.
My man
Hold on.
loses his shit because he got some ink on himself. And I remember like the best part was that he like just flat out just announced the world something like this bloody pen or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Oh, hold on. Let me try to get the video up, Paul. King Charles whines about pen during royal ceremony. What is this?
The fact that I have to say that he whines about pen, it's like just the pen, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so messed how he went from like the Queen, which was like a monolith.
There we
as
go.
far as like our culture is concerned, like somebody you just cannot touch to this guy.
I'm gonna play here. I'm gonna switch a scene here. Yeah. So this is King Charles getting mad at a pen.
I wish I could bring up the stream for myself, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, if you go on YouTube onto my account, then hold on here.
Oh yeah.
I guess you can't really hear anything. It's more just the
It's for the video though.
yeah.
You can like watch along.
You can kind of see him wiping off the ink and whatnot. Gets mad and starts. I didn't play the audio of it, but he basically said. He's like, oh, this bloody thing, this like, why is it so stupid, or like I don't know. He was just getting.
Why is it so stupid? Why are you so stupid?
He's like, he was just angry, right? Just at the pen in general. Like, no one blames him for it. Like, he just lost his mom, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it says.
yeah.
Like, the man's going through a hard time.
Exactly. And
That being said, though, he's not just a public figure; he's the public figure.
exactly.
It's like everyone looks to him to some degree for guidance.
He's like the one king that people give any sort of legitimacy now.
Yeah, no kidding.
these days.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
it goes like
Oh, I know the Norwegians still have their royal family, and so do the fucking Swedes and the Danes.
But
and the
no one knows who
Spanish
those
and
are,
the
Yeah,
right?
but they don't have
Italians.
political
But no
influence.
one cares about them.
yeah.
Yeah, because
No
they don't have
one
political
does.
influence. They don't really matter
Like-
in world affairs.
It goes it
No
goes like
offense, people from Sweden or Norway, but you just don't.
yeah. It goes like the president of the United States is like kind of here, and then there's like the British monarch is just like way up
Yeah,
there, like on the world
basically.
stage.
Yeah. Well, like they're just seen as like this figurehead, not only of Britain but of the Commonwealth in general. Honestly, that's gonna be the big question. It's like, what's gonna happen to the Commonwealth now?
That's a good question. Like, I sense like I mean there already is like a lot of turmoil like in Commonwealth countries. Like, oh, should we get rid of the monarchy? Should we become a republic and whatnot? Should we
Yeah. I mean, you even see it here in like Canada, where you have some people that are like, let's abolish the monarchy. I
yeah.
was sitting in a class and a bunch of people were like, yo, we don't need the monarchy anymore. I'm like, my guy, as somebody who's like is studying like law and shit like that, you know how many documents has the Queen's name on it,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
like any reference to the monarchy?
everything. Our
like, the
passports, our
sheer
money, our like speeding tickets, the
Well,
freaking.
even dude, the charter, the very document that's supposed to be the basis of our society, it has the Queen's name on it, and it has references, overt references to the monarchy.
To the Queen, yeah, or to the
Yeah,
monarchy
it's like-
rather.
It's like the amount of money and time that the government probably does not have either of to remove it would just not make it worth it. I'll be honest.
Exactly, and like people argue that Canada sends like millions of dollars to the monarchy every year. It's like, yeah, we do, but in the grand scheme of things, like $1-2 million
It's like a
a
fist
year
in, like, in
isn't.
comparison the amount to leave to secede.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not. Excuse me, it's not worth it to get rid of the monarchy in Canada. And even if they wanted to, it's like virtually impossible. They need unanimous approval from every parliament, like every provincial parliament and the
Yeah,
federal
I think
parliament.
it's every province, I believe, not territories though. Not
Yeah, not
they
the
don't
territories.
They don't have rights yet. We haven't invented. Like, we haven't invented rights for the territories. yet,
It's
sorry,
three
guys.
territories. They're just in a limbo, you know.
Yeah,
They're
they'll
they're
get
not
them
really.
one day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when the parliamentarians remember that they exist. Do they even have parliamentarians? Do they have MPs?
Well, yeah. There's parliaments. I
I'm pretty
believe
sure
they
that there's
just.
like Nunavut has like one for the entire territory.
Oh yeah, I think no. They have 3 each, don't they?
No, I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing from somewhere that like Nunavut only had one. I'm gonna search that up.
Canada. Hold on here. Yeah, okay, where are they? I know they always vote like Liberal or NDP or something like that, like always.
Yeah, no, Nunavut electoral district. That Nunavut is one entire electoral district. They only have one MP in parliament.
Oh,
So
oh,
you
that's
have
right.
one guy who's
For-
meant to represent all of that.
For all three territories. Yeah, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Yukon was Liberal, Northwest Territories Liberal, and Nunavut was NDP.
I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
Yeah,
Nunavut be like, nah, we're not gonna vote Liberal. Let's vote NDP this time.
yeah.
I hope enough French people move there that they vote for the Bloc in the next election.
I mean, like that's the thing. Is like, I think like what's the population of like Nunavut? Like, I want to say it's less than 50,000.
Goes from the
Probably, I
Bloc.
imagine. It's just too cold.
Watch the party changes its name from the Bloc Québécois to the Bloc Canada,
Yeah, something like that.
representing
I
the secession
wouldn't be
interests
surprised.
of all French Canadians.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised, honestly. The Bloc is doing some real questionable shit as of late.
Even less. 39,000 people live in Nunavut.
Really.
Yeah.
God, man. Imagine like getting up one morning and like looking outside and it's literally just a barren wasteland. It's just Arctic.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Nunavut is.
Just cold everywhere. Every documentary
Waking
I've
up one
seen of
morning and
Nunavut,
remembering you live in Nunavut.
yeah.
Sad
Imagine
state
waking
of
up one morning,
affairs.
imagine you live in Saskatchewan.
Imagine waking up and living in Saskatchewan. Couldn't be me.
It's better than Manitoba.
That
Yeah,
that
it
is true.
is.
That is true.
It's like I pity people who like have to live, who have to suffer living in Manitoba
And-
or Winnipeg.
And it's
especially
funny.
Winnipeg.
It's funny you say like Stabatoba and all that, and then there's Saskatchewan.
Stabito- I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And no, and then there's Saskatchewan with the 10 people. No, the 11
Yeah.
people that got stabbed to death.
Nah, man, he's just playing GTA. He's got those stars now. Can I say that? Is it time for me to say that?
Nah, he got 5. Did you see the picture of him being arrested?
No.
There was like
Did somebody put like,
I'm
a busted
I'm
overlay
going
over
to
it?
no, I'm going to pull it up. There was like he literally had 5 stars. There was like a good 15 like cruisers like on him.
Damn.
Hold on here.
It's like that scene from the Blues Brothers.
Miles yeah, pretty much Sanderson.
Nah, man, he started opening fire at the airport, and then he took cover in the concourse underneath.
Oh yeah, you mean like what we did that one time?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the Oh, okay. CVS is horrible. They just start pop. It's just pop-up ads, pretty much. Oh, come on. Where's the picture? There we go. This is kind of one here. I'll put it on the web page here. Yeah. So like, there's like what, like just in this picture alone, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6, 7 vehicles, just like law enforcement vehicles, just there, and like that's not the whole amount of of officers that were on scene there. Like you just, and it looked like something out of GTA. It looked like you got out of your car in GTA 5, like with 5 stars.
It's like you just get swarmed by police.
Yeah,
It's just,
like yeah.
50 officers on your location or something like that.
It's kind of interesting. Thank God they got him though. Like holy crap.
Yeah. Holy shit! There's so many of them, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you would think that this is the only type of thing that like would happen in like LA or a major population center. I don't know,
Yeah.
somewhere big. But no, it's like fucking the small ass province of Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, less than 1 million people. Like, and it was global
Not just
news.
that, but like it's mostly rural, my guy.
Yeah, like
It's
I swear to God, like this, like the stabbings, they were covered more than the, like the Kharkiv offensive.
Yeah.
Like I
Honestly,
swear
they
to
were,
God,
though.
they were.
I didn't hear shit about the Kharkiv offensive.
No, like, you
Honestly,
didn't
it
unless you
wasn't. If there's
searched for it,
something
eh?
big that happened here, of course it'd be covered more.
Well,
No,
yeah,
but I
like,
mean, like even globally.
like
though.
internationally, like you look at BBC, it was all about like the Canadian stabbings. They even had like a freaking
Like yeah, we were like that
special
was on the
title
front
for
page
it.
of the news.
Yeah, you look at like the like DW, like the German broadcasting. I watch a lot of that. It's actually pretty good. They're like they go in
Honestly,
depth
they're
on the
pretty
war.
like non-partisan.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, but yeah, same with them. Like they were covering this like 24/7. It's like, oh, well, Miles Sanderson is here now. There's another alert to like sent out. It's like I got the like the DW news alert before I got the CTV alert. Like like everywhere. Al Jazeera even covered it.
Al Jazeera of all
Yeah,
places.
of
those,
all
those
places.
guys from I think Kuwait or Qatar.
I think it's Qatar. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing that we're bouncing all over the place, but I guess that's what a podcast
No, that's
is.
a good thing. It keeps the topic fresh.
Like Al Jazeera, it's one of the most like liberal and free what is it, like newspapers if you're
Yeah.
not talking about Qatar.
Yeah.
Like
I
if you're
know,
not
it's hilarious.
if
No,
you
not just Qatar, but like the Middle East in general.
yeah, exactly. If you're like if it's anything outside of the Middle East, like it's super like free and whatnot, and like
It's
there's
super progressive.
it-
all that,
yeah, very
Like, it's almost
progressive.
like I'm reading a Vogue article or something.
no kidding, right? Or like CNN or freaking I don't know what's another I don't know left biased news or organization, the CBC, let's say.
Left wing bias trademarked. Literally Doxa.
Doxa.
Doxa, dude. So that is a smart reference to anybody who gets that.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's just Doxa. Logos out the window. Just completely Doxa.
Dude, fuck Logos. All my homies hate Logos. Doxa and the Sophist, bro. They knew what they were talking about.
Just big brain moments there, and like none of this audience is going to get that.
No, this is so dumb.
Uh,
like a fucking Jack.
Jack
Dwarf right
died
now.
again. Jack died.
He was like, they're talking philosophy shit. I can't be here.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck off.
Didn't he do a philosophy class or something like that? Or doesn't he have to?
I think so. He,
yeah.
did, he did like one of them. I don't know. If philosophy shit.
Yeah.
Literally one of the most useless majors. What about Bosnian interpretive dance though? Yeah, I like how he just didn't even say anything. Okay. You kurva.
Sorry, my sister walked in and was asking questions, so I had to mute myself. Anyway, what did you say? Sorry.
I made a joke about Bosnian interpretive dance.
Ah, yes, yeah. I wonder if
I
that's a
don't know.
class. That has to be a class somewhere.
I don't think it is. I made it up, but like it probably is. I know interpretive dance is a class.
You make it
and
up,
I
but
don't know-
it's probably like a freaking, like, I don't know, culture class at like
probably.
Stanford.
It's like a
or
really
something.
like niche university. Or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
Like that. Or like it's either that or it's at like Berkeley or something. Like one of the big ones.
UC Berkeley.
Where they have literally fucking everything.
Yeah. Oh yes, I'll get my master's degree in Bosnian interpretive dance. That'll
Yeah,
contribute.
I'll get it in that and protesting.
Yeah, exactly. That'll
Average Berkeley resident.
contribute greatly towards the economy.
Yeah. No, you don't understand. I'm stimulating the economy by looting stores.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
How's coming out of internet limbo
I have now plugged my iPhone directly into my computer and I'm hotspotting off of my phone.
Yes, some terrible internet.
Yeah.
It's scuff tactics, Afghanistan tactics.
Yeah.
No, you
Literally.
understand. That's how the Taliban took control of Afghanistan. They plugged the iPhone directly into the computer for the president's terminal.
Oh dang.
He just turned off the army. He just deleted the army.
Yeah, he just like Alt F4 the army. They just stopped it.
Yeah.
So Evan, as you're
just
recording
crashed the
this,
game
do you have anything like happening in the background?
What do you mean? Like,
Like, do you
He's
have
got
anything
himself.
else besides the
Pull it up.
Discord menu and our names lighting up when we talk?
not much. I was debating putting gameplay on there, but like I remember the last time I did that.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest.
it got
Mike,
no views. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. You can't put
Well, I'm
gameplay.
gonna be
on
honest. I
anymore.
don't really think you're gonna get many views with this, like,
I-
anyway.
It's not about the
Well,
views.
we'll
it's
make a
just
card.
kind of-
We'll make a title card for it. I can make one.
Yeah,
It'll look good. It'll look good.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, we
I
could
don't
like
think
play
anyone's
GTA in the
really gonna
background.
Even like enjoy that anyway.
Hold on, I can
Like,
like
If
switch.
it's
To
just a card.
I can switch to GTA pretty much, if we want to
No,
play
man,
that.
it's literally Doxa.
Yeah, no. What Jack's saying, it's Doxa. No. Yeah, it's Doxa.
Yo,
Just kidding.
Jackson. What was your opinion on Socrates and the trial?
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't pay too much attention in my philosophy 100 class.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very fair. I probably paid too much attention in it.
I love how you're like like freaking. You basically like when the class started, you're like, yeah, I read this already. like
Yeah, that was
the-
for political science.
yeah.
I read 2 of the books already. Yeah, it's I don't
Bruh.
know. It's like what do you expect? I'm a political science student, my
when
guy.
you
It's
when you're
like,
one of those
I'm just
kids.
interested in that shit. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah,
Well,
no, like
The
not
I didn't have
poking
anything
fun,
to
but-
do in like high school, so it was like, I read shit now. And yeah, I read some of The Republic by Plato, and then I read Machiavelli's The Prince. That book fucking slaps, by the way. If you want to understand modern politics and how people influence other people to get power, read that book.
Will
It's
do.
that one and then like Hobbes and shit. So, like the Leviathan's a really good book too.
Thomas Hobbes, gay weed.
Yeah, Thomas Hobbes gay weed. Oh,
Oh,
my
no.
god, that's a real holdover, honestly.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. Thomas Hobbes, like, he's written a lot of good books in his time. Leviathan, fucking pretty good book. I'm pretty sure he wrote some other shit or something like that. But Thomas Hobbes, in his great essay, Gay Weed, groundbreaking, man. Absolutely groundbreaking.
Absolutely groundbreaking. 100%.
It actually changed the way that I perceive the world and myself.
Evan, can I like make a suggestion?
Yeah.
For this stream, I don't know how well it's gonna do because like we don't have any like concrete topic that we're talking
I mean,
about
that's
here.
kind of not really.
This is the pilot, after all, though. So this is
Yeah.
supposed to be like the rough draft.
This is
Well,
episode
I mean,
one.
Like after this, we take this and then
It-
basically break it down and see what we can do better.
I don't know.
Well,
I
I mean-
kind of basing the whole thing off of like PKA, like podcasts like Painkiller already.
Yeah,
like,
their
if you've ever
topics
watched
are
that,
pretty like they have pretty fluid topics.
Yeah,
and kind of,
like, they
swap
they have
in
like
and out.
a good like 4 topics or something like that, and then
Yeah.
like the conversation just goes sideways, and then they're like, oh okay, then then it's this topic and whatnot. And speaking of,
Yeah, but like, how much of a
Oh, no,
solid viewer base do
what was
they
it?
have
Kyle
though?
pops on, he's like, oh yeah, when I was in prison.
I mean,
This-
yeah, FPS
We
Russia.
talked about that shit a lot. To be fair, it's a good pull. I'll say that. It is
Yeah.
a really smart strategy because that gets a lot of clicks.
What
I
did he
can
get
see,
arrested
why they
for,
talked
like,
a lot.
Marijuana possession. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was marijuana possession, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of that. And then like some other shit when he was running FPS Russia, they the ATF, those bastards who really like killing dogs. Not related, by the way. Just decided to take all his guns, and they're like, "Yeah, you criminal
Aw.
now. You don't have firearms."
I remember him
And so
saying
he
he
never
had
returned
like
to FPS Russia.
he had like $400,000 in like guns or something like that. I'm
Something
like,
like that. It was an
what
absurd
a
amount of money,
waste. Yeah.
honestly.
Mind you,
Well, it's
like,
not just that, but it's like if you were growing up like when we were kids and shit, like that was the thing on YouTube. It's like you saw that and like that was.
oh
like,
yeah,
front
it
page.
was FPS Russia. Like all like I
Yeah.
just binged FPS Russia.
Honestly, dude, I remember being fucking 12 and referencing FPS Russia
Yeah.
and shit. It's like it's so surreal looking at that then and looking at them like now, and it's like, oh, this is what they're doing.
Yeah, and like he still, it's kind of funny when he broke the the Russian guy character. What was his name?
Yeah.
Dmitry or something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember.
It was like finding out Santa Claus wasn't real.
Honestly, it's
Yeah.
like if you were a kid and you didn't see through the ruse,
Yeah.
you legit thought that guy was Russian.
I totally thought he was 100% Russian.
No way.
I
Don't tell me you
100%
actually felt
thought it.
No.
And then I saw like the reveal video, and I'm like, I was so
You're
disappointed.
like, dude, I'm distraught right
Yeah,
now.
like I was
My
like,
life is a lie.
yeah, literally. Anyway, topic change onto the Kharkiv offensive.
The Kharkiv offensive.
The Kharkiv
I heard a little bit
offensive.
about it. You're going to need to fill me in on the
The
details.
absolute gigachads of the Ukrainian military. So they took 6,000 square kilometers in 10 days.
What the fuck?
6,000. It's more like I remember watching again a DW report saying that the Russians, like at the beginning of the war, they were getting like maybe a kilometer, 500 meters, like 2 kilometers a day. Ukrainians got 20 kilometers in one day, 20 kilometers the next day,
Bro.
20 kilometers the other day after that, 30 kilometers after that. They
Dude,
blitzkrieg.
they're doing as well as we did at the end, at like the end times of World War One.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
the Germans were in full retreat. If
Yeah, I
that's
was
what
about
you're
to
Pretty
saying
much.
is true.
Well, and then like
They're advancing farther, not much farther, but farther than we were.
exactly.
Like an extra 4 kilometers a day, something like that.
Like it's mental. Like I think the momentum has kind of slowed down now that like Russia's like, oh crap, we kind of have to defend ourselves, you know. But
Dude, you don't understand. Zelensky, he's changed his strat now. He's just playing the funny Polish NATO song now,
yeah,
and that's why they're winning. That's
Yeah.
the source of their power.
he pressed the button.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna need to edit the fucking the music onto that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff right now. Yeah,
Um,
but no, like it's so fucking crazy though. The fact that like how this conflict has turned around. I mean, like I remember even at the start of the conflict, like we all kind of thought at the time it's like, oh fuck, it's Russia. Yeah, they're gonna.
yeah,
lose.
like I
Ukraine's gonna
fully
lose.
thought that they were
And-
going
but-
to
but,
steamroll
like-
the country like in a month.
Well, I thought it was gonna be that, and it would just devolve into a guerrilla war, like it
Yeah.
did, like back near
Like,
the end of World War II.
Afghanistan, it would just turn into
Yeah.
an Afghanistan.
But like instead, the Russians
Ukrainian
just kind of like
Afghanistan, that's
shit
worse.
themselves.
Yeah,
because
they, like-
didn't do anything right at all.
Like literally
I remember
nothing.
watching videos, oddly enough, videos on TikTok of all things, just because that thing is a treasure trove of war footage, by the way. It is
TikTok, yeah.
unsung. I don't know why. Ever since they got rid of it on like all that stuff on LiveLeak, but yeah, that's so scuffed to say. But no, I remember seeing like footage of like Russian troops being deployed, and they're being deployed like en masse, and they're like, if they're being shot at and they're not even in formation, they're basically just scattering, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, well, because they're untrained. They have that's the thing. The whole thing, they have no idea what to do. I was watching it. Like it's horrible stuff. It's horrible to see it because like they're our age and
the
whatnot.
Russian army at this point
Honestly,
knows
though.
how to do.
Well, it's like they're like our
Anything.
age, basically.
Yeah, but like, I saw them. They were on a bridge, like taking fire from a Ukrainian like machine gun nest, and just like they were out in the open, not knowing what to do. Like they didn't even get down. They didn't even get cover. Like you just saw them getting mowed down, and it's like,
Jeez,
what's
man.
going on here? Like, this isn't how you.
Honestly,
This is not how
It's
you
like-
like invade a country.
No, it's like even in like the most basic circumstances for war, like say during like mobilization time during the World Wars, like that.
Yeah,
Troops usually got at least some level
some
of
training. Yeah, like they would.
This isn't even that.
They would kind of know if you like. I mean, that's kind of common sense. If you're getting shot at, you might want to
If you
get
get shot
behind
at, get
something.
down.
Yeah. Well, and to go
Well, it's
on
like these guys don't even know that.
this.
like-
go ahead,
Well,
John.
honestly, if I can just jump in, I don't think anyone in like no one that matters anyway in the Russian military knows how to do this, because
Probably not.
even the opening shots of the fucking war were done stupid.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how much of a masterpiece Operation like Desert Storm was? Like the opening day of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was methodically planned, man.
Yeah,
Like
the
every detail.
coalition forces demanded air superiority over Iraq, and they got it because the American Air Force just swept in all at once and wrecked every Iraqi airfield they could find, and then they started moving on to fucking like ground unit formations and all like the power infrastructure of the country. and
How
all
you
that shit.
properly invade a country, right?
Yeah,
like,
the proper way
yeah,
to.
like-
I think-
This sounds so scuffed, the
Meanwhile-
proper way to invade a country.
Meanwhile, the
That's invading
Russians,
countries 101.
Meanwhile, the Russians, on the other hand, seem to be just like they've dropped bombs like that have landed a mile away from an airfield. How do you miss with a weapon you can guide to a target with a laser?
yeah.
Because that's
I
how
remember
bombs work
seeing-
now. They're all smart weapons.
I remember seeing an article when the war started. It was like not even a few days into the war, and I remember it was a report that like in that time Russians have already like failed to hit many of their targets. I remember hearing that
Yeah.
like they accidentally bombed a maternity hospital, I think it was,
I think
or
that was
some shit like that, and a
intentional.
cancer ward. I'm just
Yeah.
like, why?
I remember that maternity hospital. I think that was like broadly intentional. Just
Dude, it was that, and then the other thing was watching that footage of that person in their apartment in eastern Ukraine, and then seeing like a missile
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crash through. Yeah, and how everyone was saying like, oh, that's false flag. That never happened.
Yeah,
It's
it was the
CGI,
Ukrainians.
bro.
It
And I'm
was the
just like,
Ukrainians. Yeah,
I
they
remember
bombed their
hearing
own
that,
apartment.
and I'm just like, excuse me,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah, it's like yes, it's the Ukrainians. So that's the thing. Like going back to like my coworker from Ukraine, she's like, yeah, some of the people in Bucha thought it was the Ukrainians doing all of it because they believed the Russian
What?
propaganda, because they were
My
watching all the
guy.
propaganda and what. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, that's just being like the equivalent of a COVID denier, pretty much. And she's like, yeah, pretty much.
So scuffed, man.
Yeah,
And
but
the
like,
level, like, I don't know if it's down to like, are people
they fucked up
willfully
so
ignorant,
much.
or have like the media in
like,
general
they
just
don't
lost
think
that
it's
much
fake.
legitimacy that people are questioning it.
they don't think it's fake. They just believe that it was like the Ukrainians actually doing it, and it wasn't the Russian
Yeah,
military.
they think it's false flag.
Yeah.
No, I remember at the start of the war, people were saying it was CGI'd. It's like you know that one backrooms video,
Yeah.
of like the found footage one. They were thinking it was like that, and that was all CGI'd in one go. And that's why the camera quality was
Ironically enough, one of my coworkers, again, like where I work, I got into a yelling match with him, and he's basically saying, "Yeah, it's all CGI, it's fake. Like, why would they
No.
do that?" And I'm like,
Excuse me?
"What? Like, what are you?" I didn't even know what
Even-
to say because I'm like, I don't
Bro,
have a counter
even that-
argument to that because, like, that's just so ludicrous nonsense. It's so stupid.
No, even down to the reason why would they do that? Hasn't it been obvious?
Yeah.
Has Putin not been this obvious in the last over a decade now? That it's, hey, I eventually want to invade Ukraine
Well,
and take the resources for myself.
well, you know, honestly, when it comes to like Russian weapons hitting civilian targets, do you honestly want to know what I think it is?
Oh.
I think the guidance packages on the weapons themselves are malfunctioning.
I mean,
I could see that.
No, because
To be
like
fair,
the
Russian equipment's
Russians
not
can't
necessarily
use-
renowned for
well,
being
like,
reliable.
look. The like, apparently, some part of like the Russian defense military was apparently tied to like the use of international reconnaissance satellites, and of course, as soon as they evaded all of these satellites, which don't belong to Russia, were cut off from Russian access. So suddenly, like all of their shit just like stopped working.
okay, but when you bomb a maternity
lot of it.
hospital, that is nowhere near a military target. I think it's directly intentional, the targeting of civilian
You know,
infrastructure.
that might be true as well. But you do also have to consider the Russians, like, their equipment is already kind of subpar,
Yeah.
but they haven't been upkeeping it very well either. Like,
The
did you
Russians be
actually
like,
hear
we don't
about-
need sight mounts, bro. Don't worry about it. Just use the iron sights. It's easy.
Okay, thanks, man.
Just
But,
just
like,
shoot that guy up from 200 meters with the iron sights. I'm sorry, I had to say that. It's funny.
have you heard of the like the fucking like maintenance report of the Moskva right before it, like a few years before it got sunk?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of it's these like super high-tech state-of-the-art defense systems. They just kind of weren't working.
They
Like,
had
the things that were meant to defeat like anti-ship missiles.
yeah,
no,
they
didn't work.
had that like it's like the equivalent of like the United States like phalanx system, like that, like the funny R2D2 looking thing with the minigun attached to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had like the Russians have a version of
They had
that.
multi-layered defenses.
Yeah,
for that.
but-
They didn't just have those.
Well, yeah, they had
like,
they had a
radar
lot, but
jamming they had like radar jamming equipment for the missiles and shit, and
But-
like more things.
but like everything was not working. That's why.
yeah, no, none of it was working.
Yeah.
A part of me almost wonders if like foul play was involved to some degree.
Like the
you think some
generals
of the
or soldiers or something just
No, I'm saying the soldiers, like the sailors.
yeah just
You think,
like messing with the
to some
equipment.
degree, they were like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to bomb like what's probably like my own family in the next village.
That's why you make your army out of volunteers and not conscripts.
Highest conscript armies.
If only Putin knew that.
Literally conscripting the peasants to fight.
Yeah. No, I was they're taking convicts now from Russian
Chain
prisons.
convicts? Excuse
Yeah,
me.
because they're running out
Sorry,
of
are they
people. Because
making- I'm sorry,
They're making penal
convict
battalions, dude.
battalions.
yeah,
Dude, penal battalions.
Because
is
they're
what we're
running
doing.
out
Dude,
their-
they got the Strapniki.
They're running out of people to send because like there's so many of like the Russians that were killed that like no one wants to go, no one wants to like everyone who goes just surrenders, so
Oh no.
yeah.
I
This
feel
is-
like this can only end terribly.
Well,
Like, it's like
it
yes,
already is.
How do we? It's like I know it's already bad. Like Russians are depopulating Ukrainian villages, but historically it's shown as not to been really good. Who would have guessed that convicts don't have the best temperament, especially when under fire?
No kidding.
It's not even.
I have a
like,
feeling this is a
just
one-way ticket to war
fucking-
crimes.
Like it's not even just like their shitty conscript battalions that are being like mown down. It's their elite units too. Like the Russian
Wait, seriously?
paratrooper corps has been decimated. They almost don't exist.
Yeah.
They lost
So
a whole
they're
lot
just
of
gonna
guys.
start. They're gonna start
Like-
conscripting convicts for the VDV now.
Well, like they tried, yeah, those guys. They tried to like paradrop a bunch of them to take Odessa, and a bunch of them landed in the Black Sea in the middle of winter.
How the
Nice,
fuck- How do you fuck
fantastic.
up that bad, man?
Yeah, so naturally they all froze to death.
Well, and I was reading that like like one of these like battalions that was formed like with the convicts, immediately like as soon as they entered like Kharkiv region or something, like they were immediately hit by like or Ukrainian like HIMARS or something, or like even artillery I think, and like the entire unit was just gone, like 200 like soldiers, I guess soldiers with air quotes, but
Yeah, that's
The only thing I could imagine that
magic of
the
modern
artillery
artillery right
officer
there,
was
honestly.
saying. The only thing I can imagine the artillery officer was saying was "Get fucked, Lomao."
yeah. Slava
Well, like,
Ukraini.
see, we-
Just
Yeah.
get good.
Yeah, get good scrub.
well,
Dude,
yeah,
he was
see,
he's using the
ironically
artillery.
enough-
Sorry.
ironically enough, like modern artillery like equipment actually does make that possible too.
Yeah.
Because like well, obviously we've moved on from like World War II era technology. Like now you have a computer where you can just punch in the coordinates of wherever you want your rounds to fall, and they will fall there.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You no longer need to be like incredibly well versed in trigonometry or whatever to calculate the angle, like factoring in the curvature of the earth and all that horse shit.
No, you have a computer to do
can-
it now.
Punch in a set of coordinates, and if you have a reconnaissance drone that like displays the grid square location,
Which the
Then-
Ukrainians have plenty of.
of course they do because we've been giving them all of
Yeah.
ours. Then
We're
yeah,
talking about giving them
that's like-
we're talking about giving them like all these drones and stuff, but that's not what I want to focus on. What I
Yeah,
want to focus
no.
on is the lavs, though.
They sent
guy's
them. I
getting
know they
loud.
sent them. I just haven't seen any footage.
Have we seen them yet, though?
I
That's the
haven't
question.
seen any footage with them, but I know they have been sent to Ukraine.
see if the Ukrainians have any men left once this war ends, they're gonna be like the most well-armed army in Eastern
No,
Europe.
Oh, yeah. No,
Because
Ukraine is
they
like the
have
most
shit
strapped
we need
state.
to
Yeah.
use for us.
Or it's going to be like what they did like after this Soviet Union fell, or they just flood the black market with these advanced weapon systems.
Knowing Ukraine, as unfortunate as it is, that's probably what's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. So you're going to get like freaking Taliban with HIMARS, and
Well,
that's
it's
going
not
to be
just
like
that,
the
but,
most
like,
cursed thing in
That's
the
what
entire
happens
world.
that's what happens in any war zone, though. It's like after like usually the U.S. or whatever great power leaves, they just leave all their shit because
Yeah.
it's actually more expensive to bring it back,
Yep.
Yeah.
and so naturally it's just gonna end up in the black market.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I mean, I don't think the Taliban are going to be running around with HIMARS.
Yeah,
to be
no.
honest with you. Like, nation states themselves are going to take it, but I think it's going to be really, really easy for criminal organizations in Eastern Europe to get like a shitload of military-grade weapons.
Like
because-
like scary
Well, just
know,
military
military
weapons.
grade like Western weapons.
Yeah,
That's the other
like-
thing.
like NATO weapons.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Eastern European supply sergeants, it seems, are hardly like the most reliable sort of people when it comes to integrity.
Yeah.
But now their job posts are probably being like flooded in by a bunch of civilians, and we've already seen that Ukrainian irregulars are not the most like disciplined of military soldiers
Yeah.
because like
Cries
there's-
in Donbass Battalion.
yeah no there's video footage of them executing surrendering Russians. So
Yeah,
that
I
should
remember
speak
seeing
wonders
that. I
about
was like,
their
what the fuck's
fucking-
going on?
There was
That's-
a video from the Azov battalion. They were shooting Russian POWs in the kneecaps just because.
Yep.
Just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like them.
And I'm like,
Honestly, I just find it hilarious how the Azov battalion went from being like, yeah, these people are neo-Nazis, like if as viewed in the West, to when the war started, where people are like, oh yeah, Azov's cool now.
yeah. No,
Yeah, dude, you can have that neo-Nazi symbol like on your fucking flag.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
exactly.
Like what the hell?
Azov, the base battalion. Yeah, try saying that in 2014. You get instantly banned from Twitter.
Yeah, try saying that in 2022. You're still gonna get banned in some places.
Yeah.
Like,
Although it's like a 50-50 chance. It's a coin toss. You're gonna get that or Slav Ukraina, and that's it.
yeah, no, see, people object to things now unless these things like also happen to be used to further their own beliefs.
Yeah.
I
Like-
think that's kind of the nature of politics nowadays. It's like things
Yeah,
are
no, it
less
is.
ideological than they were back then. Everything's about like how can
No,
I obtain
no.
power.
No, things are more ideological now. It's
I'd
just
say
there's less
so. Yeah, I'd
people
agree with
involved
Jack.
in it.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are trying to they're trying to make moves for the sole
No,
purpose
no,
of either just
there's
gaining more
just-
power and influence.
There is less principle among like everybody these days. No one
That's
has
fair.
like a firm line that they'll put their foot on and say, I'm not going to go any farther than this. I'm not going to support anyone who does this. No one does that anymore. Or no one who's important
No,
does
that's
that
what I mean though, is
anymore.
that people will actively change whatever the goalpost is to fit whatever their view is.
Yeah,
And they're willing to
exactly. So-
backstab or support anyone to get that.
yeah, exactly. So how's that not about ideology?
Well, I think that's just more pragmatic because at the end of the day, they're looking at it as I gain more power by doing this, so I'm gonna do this.
No, it's not their gaining power. It's their ideology is gaining power, and
Yeah.
therefore it's ideology.
The
like,
ideology.
You yourself said it. You could probably go back like 8 years and find people who deplore the like Azov battalion and everything it stands for, as they should.
Yeah, now they're gonna
But-
say, "Oh, I completely
But now,
support it."
since the Azov
Freedom
are
fighters of
fighting-
Ukraine.
Yeah, no, but since they're doing something that they like, which is killing Russians, they're like, oh yeah, they're fine, yeah, or at least I'm not gonna say they're fine, but I'm not gonna bring up how bad they are anymore.
Yeah, they're gonna tolerate them.
See,
because
that's
they're doing something that I like them to do.
the thing.
Like, this is on par. Well, it's not really on par, but it's on par with like France hiring like former SS soldiers into the Foreign Legion after World War II, and then sending them to die in Vietnam, which they did, like en masse.
yes.
Yes,
To the
Fritz,
French.
It says you're on the hook for like some war crimes here. We can like waive that by no problem. How do you feel
Well-
about Vietnam?
Well, that's honestly a tradition of the Foreign Legion, is they never talk about like the soldiers' past run-ins with the law, even if that law
Seriously?
happens to be international. Yeah, the Foreign
It only
Legion
makes you
got
wonder
it-
how many like criminals are
cadres
actually in
by
the Foreign Legion,
criminals.
then.
Oh, a shitload, probably.
Isn't that like the whole point of like the French Foreign Legion is like to have people with like a rough background get some discipline?
No, that's the weird thing though, is that like back then when the Legion was established, it was established as this thing where it was like, oh, join the Legion, see the world, go in like into Africa and shit like that, because it was still like it was still seen as exotic at the time because it was like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it went from that to war crime battalion, or war crime group, I guess.
What's
'Cause
that?
I think they're different from the French army, so.
They maintain different traditions, yeah, but I'd be surprised if, like, I mean, I think we might confuse war crimes committed by French units these days with just the way France operates its military in general.
No, you don't understand, man. War crimes are a feature, not a bug.
Well, no, honestly, if some French guy overseas or something gets kidnapped or whatever, or, like, executed, you best expect the DSGE to go in and, like, shoot some motherfuckers as revenge.
Oh, yeah, they
at
don't
the very
care.
least.
Yeah.
They'll Mossad their way out if need be, dude.
Yeah, no, like, honestly, I think that the French might be just a little bit too based for their own good sometimes.
Acceptable civilian losses 50%.
Acceptable casualty.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I
If we
think they
lose
do
under
try to avoid
50%,
that.
it's success.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they do try to avoid that.
Well, of
But,
course,
like,
but
some Gomer in the desert with an AK, yeah, no, he's fair game, as he should be.
there's a civilian. He has an AK. Shoot him.
Quick, he's got a gun.
Yeah.
Well, his fault.
Most quoted by any U.S. police officer.
Literally. He has a gun.
It turns out it was like a banana.
Yeah, something like that. No, I remember hearing like one of the biggest things was that people were carrying airsoft guns, and then like an idiot, they would like have it on them, and the officer, if they were getting caught doing anything like robbing a store or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh look, he's got a gun." And they would just gun him down, and it's like, no, it's airsoft.
I mean, you have something
Well,
that looks like an L
mean,
and hold it in
It
your
looks
hand.
so much like a gun though. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing, and like some of them are
Yeah, no,
really damn
like-
realistic.
You can very easily detach the orange tip and make an airsoft gun look like
Yeah.
a normal gun, and in the heat of like confronting a suspect, you can't blame the cop for thinking it's real.
No.
Yeah.
Even just holding your hands up in like a
No.
shooter's
The-
position, I think that's
Dude, the
suspicious.
phone holsters, that's the biggest thing now.
No, oh my god, that guy walked by.
Oh my god. Yeah, you need to what is it? Enlighten the audience on this.
Yeah, Jack, I don't think you saw it. We were at Tim Hortons like when you got back,
It's the most Canadian thing to do. Go to
And-
Tim Hortons at like 9 p.m.
there was this old guy who had a leather holster for his like iPhone or whatever. He did he take his phone out or put it back in? And both
I think
Keegan
he was putting it back in. or
yeah, he
something.
put it back
Yeah.
in, and both Keegan and I looked at each other and we're like, "Is that a fucking gun?" Like,
Dude,
it
in
looked
my peripheral vision, it looked like he had a Magnum or something. Like
Yeah.
that, just putting it away. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Dude? My guy's
Yeah,
about to
that's-
big iron me real quick.
That's not wise. You have pockets for a reason.
Oh yeah, but like, I mean, I feel like old men get to a certain age and then they just get the
They,
like
they get the I don't give a shit vibes.
yeah they
Then
get the
can just do whatever
OtterBox
they want.
case and put it on their belt and
Well, yeah, but it's hardly gonna be old dudes doing this, is it? Like,
Yeah.
someone's gonna.
That was who the guy
do
was,
this
though.
and,
That's
like,
the thing.
Well, yeah, but
I guess
someone,
I think that's just anecdotal, but still.
well, someone our age is going to see this shit and then just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm hard, guys. Yeah, I'm
No,
hard.
someone our age
Fuck."
would just bring an
Dude, let me
airsoft
wear
gun and get
this.
shot.
literally.
Well, yeah, that's also fair, but if they haven't got one, they'll like have this because they think it looks cool, and it probably
Yeah.
does. But then they'll be off doing some sketchy shit, and then they'll just get dinked because the cop sees that they're armed.
In
or
Canada,
thinks he sees that they're armed.
did you know that you can?
Well, and what if they try and pull their phone out of that holster to record
Yeah.
the police officer? Because everyone loves doing that these days.
Just an American moment. Ah,
Honestly,
he reached for his
Americans be
pocket.
Like I'm being stopped for a ticket or something like that, and they feel the need to pull out their phones, and be like, "Am I violating any rights, sir?"
No, it'd be those like sovereign citizens that be like, "Oh,
Is that what they call them now?
yeah,
Like,
it's
is that
it's
the
like
term?
I don't need a driver's license to drive. I'm in the United States of America. This it's the
And
land
it's
of the
that,
free."
and then the other one is that they'll constantly say, "Am I committing an offense?"
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Am I
because of the way
detained?
that,
Am
like,
I
traffic
detained?
laws work, it works differently.
Yeah. It's like, yes, just do what the officer asks. Like, don't make any sudden movements. Don't turn on your car. Don't like reach in your pockets.
Don't
Don't.
make- You say that like he's coming up against a pack of hyenas or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't make any sudden movements. The cop will go for his gun. You're just fucked then. I can't help you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of a
Like,
thing that happens.
you don't really
It's
have
not
to do
entirely
that.
false.
You don't really have to do that. Like in Canada, like I
No.
like
No,
the
you
officer
don't,
doesn't
because
assume that you're
Contrary
armed.
to popular belief, we don't have a police brutality problem here.
What? I wouldn't say that we absolutely don't have one, but
We don't have an
it-
American
it's
police
yeah,
brutality
it's not
problem.
it's not on the scale of what America has.
Well, like at all. And I think the whole reason that people are focusing on that more these days is because Canada has a trait where we like adopt America's cultural bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Like,
having a
literally
debate with
everything
this.
about American culture we adopt, including all the social problems, even though they have no relevance here anymore.
Yeah, literally though, I was having a debate with one of my uni friends the other day, and he stated that the U.S.'s largest export isn't oil or like firearms or anything like that. It's political issues to Canada, and I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Any
no,
issue that comes
that's
up in the
correct,
states,
too.
we feel the
'Cause,
need
like-
to immediately
Well,
make it our problem.
You look.
Yeah, well,
you
you
looked.
remember like 2 years ago when George Floyd got knee necked too hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like a bunch of idiots made a motion in like Calgary to defund the police there. and
They
I'm
did
just
that-
Like, why?
They did
We
that in
try to push
Regina
that here
too.
too. Yeah.
You see, like I'm like, why?
Like why
The
don't?
last time I heard of like que- a an event here where the police used a questionable amount of force was in Montreal, and some dude was coming at them with a knife, and so of course he got shot. Like,
I
what
mean,
do you expect?
Honestly though.
that's another thing is like, I think police brutality incidents are like kind of not covered in the media because it just, especially in Canada, like you don't really hear
Not
about
in
it.
this day and age. Man.
Yeah, like I feel like it happens. It's just no one.
It happens, it just isn't documented.
Yeah.
Like there has to be at least some instances of it, but no one talks about it.
Exactly.
I think the only reason we aren't seeing like frequency of police brutality like America is because there's just less people in Canada.
I
Yeah.
mean that's also true.
Like,
But even
so
per capita though, we have
we
a
literally have
surprisingly low
10% of the population of the United States. Wouldn't it stand to reason that we have 10% like of the police brutality
Doesn't-
incidents?
doesn't
that they
Yeah,
have?
but it doesn't even
California-
feel like we have 10%. It feels like we have like 3 to 5%.
Doesn't California
It's almost
have
like it
a
never gets
higher
talked about.
population than Canada?
Maybe it doesn't
think
happen
so.
because like all of our police officers are trained at a federal academy.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say that like
And all in the
Canadian
same place. And by,
Canadian
like,
police
That is
the
officers
same
are highly
instructors.
trained, and
That's like
Yeah,
not the case with the United States because
yeah,
they let
is
the
aren't they
individual
trained
states
by
train
like
their own
whatever district
policemen.
or county they're in?
yeah, the county trains them. Whereas in Canada, like even like Saskatoon Police or Regina Police or Calgary Police or like Vancouver Police, like they're all trained kind of like there's a standard, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Yeah,
it's like there's no I guess the other thing is that there's no cultural or I guess regional bias.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
all
imagine
one thing.
there's probably bias depending on whatever county you're in. I'm assuming they're probably gonna weigh harder on certain issues and certain beliefs than others,
Well, and then you
depending on what
have
county.
like the issue of like American cops. I think are very trigger happy. Like they like American police officers like to shoot people and can like what like you don't hear of Canadian police officers shooting anyone. Like
Well,
never like there's been like
Yeah,
they
one
not
do
often.
when
like
it's
there was like one
necessary.
incident this year and then like a few incidents last year.
That's the whole
Oh
thing. It's like when it's necessary. It's like
yeah.
I feel a lot of issues in the states. Granted, once again, they have more people.
Well,
But a lot of situations escalate to the point where they really didn't need to escalate that far.
there was a
Either
man
on part of the perpetrator or the cop in this case.
I saw this on Facebook. I don't know how real it is, but there was a guy apparently he was having a like mental breakdown in his car, crashed his car, and called the police to like help him like get unstuck. And he said like I'm in an accident, like I crashed my car, I need help like getting unstuck, like I'm not injured or anything. And the next part of the article is yeah they unloaded a Glock 19 into him. It's like
Excuse me.
it's like how did you go from oh I need help my car's stuck and I got in an accident to
Help! I
oh
attempted suicide. I need help.
yeah
To okay,
to
well I
I'm
guess I'll
dead
send you
now
to
because
myself.
I just got a mag unloaded into me.
Yeah, no, that is a problem
Yeah,
in the States, but it's not a problem here.
it's
But
definitely
people
not. Like
wanting
you
to make
don't
it,
hear of
like
that.
act like it's a problem here.
No, we don't have that. We just have issues with Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah, I'm thinking
yeah,
of suicide. Oh, have you considered suicide?
Yeah, it's
That's
like, oh man,
basically what happened.
yeah,
literally.
like
Okay, so like the whole thing with this, for the audience that doesn't know, yeah, there was a guy who was, I believe he was an Afghan war vet. It was Afghan or Iraq or something like that.
It was Afghanistan, yep.
Was that Afghanistan?
Yep.
Yeah. So he was suffering from severe PTSD, as I'd imagine any war vet from Afghanistan would. Um, and so he went to Veterans Affairs to bring up this issue, and it's like, hey, I need help for this. And the best that Veterans Affairs could say to him was, "Have you considered suicide? Have you considered?" I think it was assisted suicide. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me."
Yep.
that was recently legalized in Canada was medically assisted suicide.
Yeah, dude, we get suicide booths now. It's Futurama.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, here
Yeah,
I just put the article
but
up on there. Yeah, horrifying that a Veterans Affairs worker raised assisted suicide with troubled veteran. It's like
yeah.
yeah, like the
It's
guy
complete.
the guy called it like a VIC to get some like help with PTSD and depression and whatnot, and they're basically well. Have you considered just offing yourself? Like it's a lot cheaper. On,
Yeah,
like,
it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like I mean in some cases I can understand why like medically assisted suicide would be like an acceptable revenue. Like say you get into a car accident and you're completely paralyzed and
Yeah.
but you just feel nothing but pain.
Or you have like you
Yeah,
have like
like
terminal
I would
cancer or
choose
something like that. Or
Yeah, yeah, like
or
a serious illness. But
yeah.
even then, though, I
well
would even go the stretch to argue that suicide should never be encouraged, especially since these people take the
yeah.
Hippocratic Oath, do
Yeah.
no harm.
Exactly.
Well, and they're just telling someone else to do the harm
Yeah.
to themselves.
Okay.
So like
It's a
Like-
suicide boost out
Like,
of
normally
Futurama.
suicide should be like a last resort thing, and there's certainly better things they could have done than say that.
Yeah.
like
Oh, especially to a vet.
yeah,
It's like
how
the guy could have like got on like a medication regimen or therapy or something. There's
But-
way better
you
avenues.
don't
even to,
recommend
like
medically
experimental avenues.
assisted suicide with mental problems.
But that's what they're doing. That's what they're like. Literally, like people with like uncontrollable, like severe depression. They're like, "Well, have you considered suicide?"
I'm gonna
That's
go into my
literally what they're
therapist
doing.
next time, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, have you considered killing yourself?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, every day, bro. Don't worry about it."
Like seriously, but like, who recommends someone with severe depression like that? Have you considered medical assistance in dying?
Someone who ought to
Uh,
be sacked. From
Yeah,
their
someone who
job,
needs to be
that's
fired.
bad.
Like,
Like something went wrong there at some point.
yeah.
Like
I
that's
don't know if they got the whole
disgusting.
point during med school. That's like, hey, I'm supposed to be like helping people.
Yeah, this is kind of like this might branch off into another topic too, but I think the main problem there is most Canadians just feel like a giant amount of apathy towards the armed forces in general.
Yeah.
Like, which is
Yeah, I
why
think so.
no one joins the army these days. Like, we have, the last time I checked, we have like maybe fucking like 75,000 people in the total of like our three branches of military around that, and that includes like reserve units.
Yeah, does that include reservists or is that just active though?
Yeah, no, it does. It includes reserve units, and now thanks to the government's policy on like mandatory vaccinations for troops, reservists now actually make up a bigger part of the army than the permanent force does.
The
I mean,
Canadian
to be
Army.
fair, I remember seeing something a while ago from I believe it was the defense minister. It was the previous guy. I remember him saying that they wanted to convert Canada to a reserve army, a primary reserve
That's
army,
the
as
stupidest
opposed
thing
to
I've
enlist.
ever heard.
And I'm
a
like,
good idea.
why? What are you doing?
Okay, as of 2022, the Canadian Armed Forces has 23,000 regular soldiers and 19,000 reserve soldiers, including
Okay, so I was
5,300
kinda wrong.
Canadian
About
Rangers.
even.
It's about like it's very similar to what you said though, Jar.
Dude, so since the Canadian Rangers are basically just another reserve unit, then I am correct. But
Not just that, but also with the absolute worst uniform I have ever seen.
well, it's
That
not.
uniform is terrible.
The
dude.
Commander in Chief, King
it's
Charles
not.
King Charles III. Sorry, King of Canada. King of Canada. Okay.
Yeah, no. What you said about the uniform, it's not terrible. Like there
I
are
think
much
it's-
worse.
Oh,
ones
this
out
is just
there.
the
Well,
Canadian Army. Sorry, I think I got it mixed up here. Hold on.
Then okay, so what's terrible about the Canadian Army uniform?
Look at it. They look like militia.
Not the Canadian Army uniform. The Rangers
Not
uniform.
the Canadian Army, the Canadian Rangers uniform. They
Oh,
literally
okay,
they look
yeah.
like militia, my guy. They
Well,
look
that's 'cause
like
that's what they
middle-aged
are.
dads that are going out to go barbecue.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's what they are. That's literally what they are as part-time soldiers.
okay, I got the numbers mixed up with the like that was just the Army numbers. This is the Canadian Armed Forces like as a whole. So they're like active personnel is 67,000, and reserve personnel is 36,000. So
Yeah,
we
so-
definitely have more than for like 42,000 42,000
probably.
soldiers. Yeah, I was looking at that number and I'm like, I think that's a little
Like,
bit low.
Something's off here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have like, like what 107,000 people under arms.
Around that. Like
Is that what that is?
our military is half the size of Ukraine.
And it's less than 1% of the population as well.
Yeah.
Like, that is much too low, and and like, there's okay. So we've like never met our NATO obligations, right?
No.
Like,
No, I don't think we ever have.
We've always been funding the army with like 1 to 1.5% of our like GDP, when we're supposed to be doing it with like a flat 2 at least.
It's 1.4 in
But,
2020.
Yeah, but some like you remember that whole thing about how those like NDP MPs were like going on about, oh yeah, we should disband the armed forces
Yes.
to save on budget.
Guys, let's
Or,
just
like, at
not
least
have
the
an army.
Yeah, no, they wanted to disband, I think, specifically the army and leave the Navy and Air Force alone.
What's the
Ex-
point?
why?
What's the point?
Because, like, the last time we've been deployed in a major war was, Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. But like
And the army's still largely equipped to fight a war like that.
Yeah.
But
you
know,
still
it's
need
like
a
every,
military.
Every military needs
and
an
they
army. They
suggested
crowd
to like, and they suggested to disband it to save money, so we could save 0.4% of our GDP and spend it on what?
Yeah, exactly. Dental care.
Our soldiers are using rifles with scopes mounted on them that are designed for machine guns, not rifles. Our
I remember you saying that.
yeah, no, our fucking like, our main sidearm until very recently was designed in 1934, and the only reason we were still using it was because the government ordered it, like 3 warehouses of them during
Yeah.
World War II, and we've just been working through them ever since.
Bro.
Like, our our CRBN suits, like our chemical warfare suits, half of them for the reserves anyway, half of them are still like in like the olive green pattern from the Cold War.
Of course.
A bunch of the soldiers weren't even issued rucksacks.
It's
and
not even in CAD patty.
and yeah, no, and a bunch of them that were issued rucksacks are still getting like olive drab ones from the Cold War. Some of them are
Nice.
getting like ones from 30 years ago that my dad would have used.
Yeah, are they getting those? Like, what is it called?
They're
like
getting
a type,
Yugoslavia
yeah,
gear,
like
my
Type
guy.
82 or like pattern. What is it called?
Well, the Type 82 is the slightly newer version of the old rucksacks.
Okay.
They're getting the Type 62 pattern, which is what my
Oh.
dad actually carried when he was
Nice.
in the army a long time ago. Like, yeah, it's not good. The like chest carry rig for the army is so universally despised that most commanders are actually saying, yeah, it's okay if you get your own so long as it falls under these specifications.
Yeah, just get your own tack vest. It's a
You
lot
literally,
better.
yeah, you literally encourage get your own tack vest. Fuck this one.
There's no standardization for like the issue of boots whatsoever. Like, so you're actually subsidized again by the army to buy your own pair of boots and then file a claim for them. So long as they're like tan or black or something, you're fine.
I mean, like logistically, that makes sense because like if you can just
I mean, yeah, that does because the soldiers can buy boots that are like actually fitting for themselves.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that does make sense, but
not just that,
the
but
thing
are
with-
like actual
but the
quality.
thing with the
You're not gonna
chest
fall apart
carry
afterwards.
is like embarrassing. The thing with the carry rig is embarrassing. Like we literally took a rig that was modified for like fishermen, gave it a CAD-PAT pattern, and put magazine pouches on it.
There we go, because that
and
makes sense.
Just said, yeah, that's gonna work.
That's the most American militia ass thing I've ever heard.
Is
honestly.
there
Yeah,
like
no, it is.
That sounds like
like-
the kind of thing that'd be going down in the Texas militias and stuff.
Well,
That
you
like
want to
the
talk
people
about
are forming.
militias, but like the guys that okay, so you remember like a few years back when we went into Quinn the Eskimo that one time, and you bought that
Yeah.
fucking
yeah,
like
yeah,
olive
that's
drab
good.
coat, and
Yeah.
we do either of you guys remember seeing like an ammo belt pattern on one of the walls, like some web gear
yes.
that was hanging on one of the
I
walls?
think so.
Yeah, the soldiers nowadays hate the tack vest so much that they're actually just taking that off, buying the 82 pattern webbing that we saw, and using that.
Like the old stuff that we used to use.
Because
I love
Yeah.
that.
because it's less restrictive on like your chest. It's more comfortable. You can more reliably access your magazines. Honestly, the smart thing to do would just be have that like in CAD-PAT these days instead of this, because you can actually wear this over like proper body armor, like the sort that carries actual like plates to protect yourself from bullets.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that with the regular tack vest.
I just
Or
love the idea
You
that
can.
like one of
You
the
just have to like increase the length of the straps on it, and that's a big pain in the dick. But with this, you could literally just throw it on over.
Yeah.
interesting.
Like,
I
but-
find it interesting that what was it? One of the like the staples of the army, standardized uniforms, is like barely being practiced.
yeah, no, it is.
Just
And-
like just buy all your own fucking gear.
Well, and
whatever.
then they got the
but, like,
new
and
stuff,
these
right?
uniforms have been like reissued time and time again so much that
yeah,
if you shine a flashlight through them, you can actually shine the light through the uniform and see it
That's
because
so
it's
messed.
so thin.
Well, and they
so
got
thin, just 'cause it's so
The
worn.
guys who have really old uniforms, pat lingerie, because that's basically what it is.
yeah, I believe that. No,
Yeah.
and like we got like the new pattern uniform, right? It's like why haven't they issued that to everyone?
And that's another thing that they do wrong. Is they fucking like, oh my god, they change the way they do everything like every 3 years. It's nuts. They change literally everything that happens. They change the way you're supposed to do drill. They change the format of your paperwork. They change everything. And I'm fairly certain it's just to give like colonels who have like a heavy desk in Ottawa something to do.
Right.
Because if they fire all the desk weenies, then suddenly a bunch of people who've been in the army a long time don't have a job anymore and they have nowhere else to go. So it's like,
basically just making work for the sake of making work.
yeah, no, or they have like a bunch of civilian employees from the DND who make up a significant like voter base in Ottawa or something because
Oh, so
the
they're like, we
D&D
need to
does
give
have a
them
lot of
something to do.
civilian employees. And I'll bet the job they do is just like moving paper from one part of the room to the other. Like you
Your
could-
job is to move this paper stack from spot A to spot B on the
Yeah,
other side
no.
of the room.
You could, if you want to save money on the army, fire like fire like 10,000 like desk weenies. That's the way to do it.
Well-
And nothing bad would happen whatsoever, except that 10,000 people are momentarily out of work.
You could say
Like,
the same thing
yeah,
in a
that
lot
sucks.
of
But how essential is your job, really?
you could say the same thing in a lot of like different industries, like
Industries,
in the
yeah. Well,
government
especially
and
government,
like
yeah.
yeah.
So, as
like-
someone
well,
who's
fucking-
studied the government like
Yeah, well,
religiously,
just cut the bureaucracy, honestly.
Exactly.
yeah, it's all
Horseshit,
fat. A lot of
and
it's
it doesn't
fat.
work
just
anyway.
just talking about like my like municipal like town government, they have committees for this, they have committees for that, they have committees for this, they have committees for stuff that doesn't matter, and
Yeah,
like,
like,
hundreds of them. It's like,
Like,
and then they
civil
have
service and the military shouldn't be like a jobs employment program for people who just want money.
yeah.
Yeah,
You should
basically.
actually be doing things that are important.
No, it's honestly at this point, if anyone ever struggles to find work, just join the government. It's so easy.
Yeah.
They literally have spots for everything, because it's so all encompassing and it's so bloated that there's at least 3 jobs in the place of what would only need like 1 job basically.
Yeah.
Hold on, my neighbor is telling me that my garage door is open. I'll be right back, guys.
The garage door is open. Okay.
Like, and honestly, I'm willing to bet that the only reason there haven't been massive cuts to expenditures is people are afraid to like management these days is too afraid and like
Well, they don't
doesn't
want
have
to be
the
the one
balls
to
to
let
tell
people
someone
go.
to
That's
get
the
out.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
exactly.
whole thing. They don't want to be the one to let people go.
Well, they
'Cause then,
haven't
like,
got the
then
nuts
they look
for
bad.
it. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, my God, people
that's the
who
thing, it's
run
like-
things these days. Like, my dad has a somewhat like he kind of has a government position with like the
Yeah.
way he does insurance these days, but like
It's like a mixed system. It's a
no,
little bit
like
of column
he
A, a
told
little
me
bit
the
of column B.
story. No, like he told me this story about like his boss having to let someone go, and the dude was like a grown ass man in his
Yeah.
30s, and he was holding back tears because he was telling this guy he was fired. Like, yeah, sure, it's a bad thing when someone loses his job, but that's not anything to cry about.
I want to know what his life situation's like.
I
What
don't
causes a
know.
man to grab that? I'm wondering if it's like, did he really need this job? Was it like
I don't
that
know, like,
important?
how absolutely little like experience with like interpersonal conflict do you have that telling someone they don't work for you anymore brings you to tears? Like, I don't know, maybe he was really close friends with the guy or something, but
Maybe,
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
It just sounds like he's backstabbing him. I'm sorry, Jim. You can't work here anymore. Get your shit and get out.
I mean,
It's like the
honestly,
guy is
like,
just like et tu brute or something like
I
that.
mean, I don't want to sound like a brutal like asshole, but if you and I were like at a job and I had to like let you go for something that was completely out of my control, I would feel bad about it, but I probably wouldn't cry myself to sleep because
That's the
I'd
thing is
still see
you're
you
like I
again.
have to do this. So
I mean, it's not like I'm taking you out to go see the rabbits and shooting you in the back of the head with a fucking
Yeah.
Walter or anything. It's like, yeah, you're gonna be out of work for a wee bit, and you might have to tighten your belt for a little bit, but like, that's nothing to break down in tears over for you having to do
no.
that. I don't think some people are meant to be in leadership positions these days, and a bunch of them are, and that's not good.
I think the issue is just that a lot of people they don't have the proper skills, and I think that's partially down to the fact they either weren't taught the skills or they didn't bother to learn those skills.
Yeah.
Because there are certain skills required for leadership to some degree, right?
Or, you know,
Like,
a bunch of our leaders these days are just, like, weak.
It's a popularity contest. If you promise the most shit, or if you look the nicest, you get elected. Hence, Justin Trudeau. I love how he was elected on voter reform and then immediately didn't pass it, and it's to the point where
He was
I think,
also
like-
elected on, like, saying, yeah, I'll legalize pot, guys.
I think that's the one thing that
the
he
only good
actually
thing
done.
he did. The
He
only
did.
good thing he did.
No, that's like the only thing he's done. Like, I
Pretty
swear,
much.
like,
it was that, and then no, it was that and COVID shit.
No, it was that,
Yeah.
COVID, and a gun control bill that
Like-
wouldn't have prevented any tragedy anyway.
I know that like COVID, like a lot of again, this is very controversial, but he really did do like an all right job, I think, with COVID. Besides like CERB and whatnot, like that was just handed out to anyone. But
Yeah, including you.
yeah, government benefits. No,
Fucking leech.
But to be fair,
It's-
I was being paid more to sit at home and do nothing than the wages I would be paid. for
exactly.
working.
Okay, so you like anyone, literally anyone, would accept $2,000 a month over the $500 a month that they would be getting with their wage, right? Like, I'm not
Okay,
going.
how
I'm not.
many-
I'm not about to go look for a job that I'm going to be making less than $500 a month on
Wait,
when
Well,
I'm
not just
getting
that, but a
$2,000 from
job
the
that
government
hold
every
on.
month.
like nine
Hold
times
on
out
a
of 10
minute.
I'm gonna actively
Hold on a
despise.
minute. Like honestly, if you're making $500 a month, I think chances are you are not living by yourself, because that amounts to like $6,000 a year. Who
Yep.
in Canada is making that except for like part-time workers, like kids from school
Well,
working their first jobs?
it shouldn't really matter because like everyone pays into employment insurance, right? So everyone is entitled to get employment insurance, and CERB was just from
Well, yeah,
employment
but
insurance. So
yeah,
No,
well, the
it was
thing
the
is,
death
like,
of unemployment insurance. It's a thing. They
they're
actually they gutted that entire fund
well, yeah, but like
basically.
a 14-year-old who just got laid off from their job at the grocery store doesn't need CERB
one
because they're just
hundred
living with
percent
their
agree.
parents.
100. Like absolutely did not need $2,000 a month. I was living at home with my parents. One
Yeah, I
hundred
think
percent
Exactly.
did not
honestly.
need it. But I haven't had to take out a loan for school because I've just been using CERB. So that's like money that I wouldn't be borrowing from the government. That's money like I'm not spending it on drugs, right? Like, and that's the thing. Like other
Well, I
people,
need to clarify that, guys. I'm not spending it on drugs.
I'm not
okay?
spending it
Just so you set
on
the record straight.
ketamine. Okay, like I'm not buying. No,
Yeah,
but
no,
worry
Coke
about
on the other hand.
yeah, no, but like it's not going towards like random stuff. It's not. It didn't go towards a car. It didn't go towards like a
Well, yeah,
gaming
but
PC.
CERB was not meant to like further your college ambitions. It was meant to keep like people who lost their jobs from starving to death.
Exactly, and
Like that's not what employment insurance is for, like anyway. It's not to give you an
employment
extra amount
insurance
of
is for
cash
if you
to
lose
use
your
for your
job.
future.
If you lose
It's
your
meant
job, then
for
it
when
props you
don't
up.
have a job.
Yeah, it props you up so you can find another job. That's the whole like idea of
Yeah,
employment insurance.
you weren't being propped up for anything.
No, and I 100% agree with that. Like I 100% did not need it.
Like I heard like a rumor or something that apparently some of our CERB money was even going to people who were living in the United
The
States.
Americans, yeah,
Yeah, I remember hearing
Yeah,
about that.
so
yeah.
I don't know how verifiable that is, honestly, but like honestly, he could have handled this fucking like pandemic thing so much better. Like we all knew that international travel was the problem, but for some reason we were like, "Oh no, don't close the airports to
that's the
international
thing.
travel
Okay,
or
right?
No,
Like
anything."
they were
We
so
could have
slow
not
to close
had
that
like
shit down, man.
we
we
could have had
like
like no COVID here,
it would have
basically.
been it
And
would
very
have
little.
it would
Had
have
they just
ballooned.
shut
It
down
would
the
have ballooned
airports and
regardless.
quarantined everyone who was sick. No, it wouldn't have, and it wouldn't have ballooned as fast.
Okay, you get one
We were
person.
having
You get
people
one
going
person
like
that
online and getting
disobeys a
COVID.
rule or gets another person sick. Okay, you have one person. It only takes one person. It's virtually impossible to contain something like that unless you go like full China.
Yeah, but it spreads a lot quicker if it's not just one person, it's 100 people.
Yes, I agree, but it still would have.
It's just the rate of spreading.
Yeah,
That
like
it would have taken longer for it to spread at the rate that it did.
exactly. So like instead of having like
Unless,
the peak being
you
in
catch
March,
that
it would
one
have happened
person
in
and
like the next year.
quarantine them. In well, unless you catch that person and quarantine them for like a month if necessary. Like that's not a hard thing to do. Why weren't they just like screening people for like COVID symptoms and making them isolate for 2 weeks when they were coming off
Because
the
they didn't
airport?
know what the COVID. They didn't know what the symptoms were. They didn't
Yeah.
know how to
Well,
screen.
plus
They didn't know.
then like as time went along, then the
Bullshit.
issue also kind of became down to like, does the government have the authority to tell me this or not?
Dude,
Yeah.
right
Because
up
that was
when
the
they
other
were,
big like constitutional issue we were having.
dude, 2 years ago in fucking March of 2020, when this started happening, everyone was saying what the symptoms were. So either they knew or they didn't know, and they were just making up bullshit then. So I don't see why they couldn't
Okay,
have just
but
like
COVID
closed
was
the
in
country
Canada.
off
Like
to all
it's
international
been
travel.
proven that COVID has been in Canada since December. I think it was like October 2019. So it was
Okay,
it was
well,
so new that they didn't know what to look for. So that people were coming in with COVID, they didn't even know that COVID existed. Like, and yeah, like once they did figure it out, they should have right away closed the ports of entry, closed the airports, closed this, closed
yeah,
that.
shut down the border.
Yeah,
Like
shut down the border. Like
you would
go
think
full
that,
North
like
Korea.
no,
Close
well,
the border.
I won't say that, but you would think that like in a time of economic uncertainty, you're going to get a shitload of reservists who would not mind a little bit of activation pay.
Yeah.
Like to just sit on the border and turn away anyone who doesn't have Canadian papers.
That's what they should have done, honestly.
Yeah, like it's not a hard thing to do anyway.
Well,
We
and
know
like
where people come in at the border. If necessary, we can patrol the border to catch anyone who might be sneaking in. It's not a hard thing to do. The people who live in those like border areas are capable of reading maps. Like the
yeah,
reservists who live in that area know the area and they know how to read a map. Like it's not a
They
hard
know how to read a map.
shutting a
I hope.
border down, even one as large as ours, is not a hard thing to do.
a soldier knows how to read a map. What a breakthrough in science and technology.
Yeah. Who would have thought someone can stare at a piece of paper with funny drawings on them and say, "Oh yeah, that's a border crossing." Like, and no one's gonna like try and fucking like Mexico themselves into Canada just to like
Gonna
see their
Mexico.
family for a little
You
bit.
you say that like it's the cartoons and they're gonna pole vault their way over the border.
I mean, yeah, like no one's gonna like set up a elaborate smuggling operation to get people into Canada to go buy m- like maple syrup flavored candy
I
at a
mean,
Niagara Falls
there
tourist.
is-
It does happen though. It does happen.
There- yeah,
You
there
will
is,
get
like-
a lot of people smuggling.
not, yeah, not,
However,
not so
usually
much.
it's not from the states.
Not so
Yeah,
much.
so they can become like illegal citizens, maybe. Yeah.
Not so much human
But
trafficking, but like definitely
What
a
do
lot of
people
like
come to
drug and
Canada
like
for mainly? Like honestly, what what do people come to Canada for? Like mainly.
jobs
Yeah, a lot of it's jobs or like opportunity.
Yeah.
or
From
safety.
like where though?
From like few different places. I remember I was I was watching one of those like border crossing shows. Like side tangent. I know. I didn't know what to do. I was bored. And there was this one lady coming from China, and it turned out like after some false like papers or something like that, it was found out she was coming to work.
Oh, nice.
So it's that, or like a lot of people will like overstay their visas and stuff like that. That's another really common one. And then after a while, they'll just claim to
Like
be
with the
citizens.
land border side, it's incredibly easy anyway. And if people
Yeah.
overstay their visas, the really simple answer is just to deport them back to wherever they came from.
I know, but the government doesn't do that.
Yeah, because the
Not a lot of
government doesn't have any balls.
We
That's
have
why.
no, we have very very lax immigration laws because we need like workers.
The whole reason why is because Canada's whole policy for their economy is will import more workers for the purpose of working in like all these new jobs.
Yeah.
And that should just create an artificial increase in GDP because we'll have more people employed over time.
Not only that is like you have like Canada's population is aging, so you'll have a lot of people, like a lot of people retiring and whatnot, getting out of work and then going on to like social programs like old
Yeah,
age
so you got to
pension and
replace them in the
whatnot.
workforce.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. You gotta replace them, and like birth rates in
Yeah, I know
Canada
that, but you'd
aren't
think
high.
a natural
So
answer to that would be to get people to like incentivize people to have children.
how can you incentivize people to have children when it's going to make you broke? Like
Tax cuts.
Subsidies.
economically, like someone even in like the like upper middle class, it's not viable to have a child because everything costs too much.
It's not as
Bullshit, it's
like
not
this.
viable to have a child.
There's
if you're
like
upper
I
middle
think people will
class.
still do it if they have moral prerogatives too, but it is definitely harder. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
Evan,
that
do you know
can
what the
generally
upper
be
middle class,
relegated
like,
by-
is?
Sorry?
People who make like you do know that like the upper middle class is like people who make like 85,000 a year or something like that, right?
Yes.
Like, it is certainly viable for those people to have children.
It's not though. Like when you're factoring
it
in
is.
your $500,000 like house that you had to buy because there was no cheaper option, and your $100,000
It's
vehicle that
plus
you
the
had to
income
buy
factor.
because there's
Kids
no
have grown
cheaper
up in an
option. Like,
apartment before,
okay, but like
or on
even
rental
like
properties or anything. And everyone certainly bought a
I'm
$50,000
not saying that
house.
it's not viable. I'm saying that it's not smart. It's not smart to have a child in this economy right now.
in this economy.
And no shit, like I'm not even joking. Like you're spending a good. Hold on.
You're spending a good hold on.
Okay,
I mean, I
I
will
need
agree
to.
that prices for like food and shit is incredibly high.
I need to drive my
And
sister
having a kid
somewhere.
is undoubtedly
I'll be
expensive,
back.
but at
Need
the
to
sa-
what?
Oh, bruh.
Should we
Wait,
just
what do you
end?
need to?
I need to
Yeah,
drive
we can
my
end it
sister.
here,
Yeah,
probably.
should we just end it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll end it here. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Episode 1 done, I guess.